Doesn't it look kind of a little bit, maybe remind you of that teapot I did? Is it just me? Look at all the Easter eggs. And then a little leggy on top. And I got it at a thrift store for like $2. Wait, that was under Christmas? This looks more Easter. How was this Christmas? Well, not gonna question it because I probably got it on some sort of sale. Never pay full price. Alright. So I knew the theme I was going for with this, but I didn't have the colors, perfectly planned out. Unless I'm doing a character thing, that kind of rarely happens. And even then, I still sometimes struggle. But I totally was not doing the inside part of this, because quite frankly, I didn't feel like I needed it. And I didn't feel like trying to get in all the little areas in something that just wasn't going to, fit nicely to get all the little areas in there. And yes, the roof is definitely very textured. Like, it's got all the individual little shingles, which, when I was going sideways, it kind of got in between everything pretty nicely. So, that didn't take long to paint even. It was more so the little stuff that took a long time, but yeah, I threw down a base coat of the light brown and the light green because I'm not using pink and purple. What is wrong with me? There's a lot. We don't have time to go into all that. That's I could save it for another day, but we still won't have time to go into all that. So we're just gonna, yeah. So I think this technique is called scumbling. Like when you dab your paintbrush on the paper, on the canvas, because most people use canvas. I don't use canvas. Although I do have an idea I might end up using a canvas for, but I'm not 100% sure yet. I'm still working things out with that thought. But anyway, yeah, so the light colors that I used for the base colors, that's because I knew I didn't want to try and smooth it out. I wanted to try and get a bit of a weathered look in there. And I thought having the base color underneath would help give it some highlight shadow things. Because I knew I wasn't going to try and smooth paint it. I was going to dab paint it. And you can see there's some stuff going on in the grassy area. Did it work out as well as I thought? Maybe not. I think maybe I added a little too much of the dark on the roof. But it was kind of looking weird to me no matter what I do. Oh, wait, there's the pink! Yeah, see, I didn't completely neglect myself of pink or purple. Just because it's minor in this one. Gosh. But yeah, it's a gazebo. It's supposed to be outside. And, technically it's not a gazebo anymore. It's a temple. Does it look very temple-ish? No. But it's a fairy temple. So maybe now it looks more temple-ish. The egg on top I wanted to have a glassy appearance for, but the best I could do was metallic paint when I got there. So we just pretend it's glassy and translucent and pretty. So I have a bunch of other stuff to paint on. I can and will totally make a whole fairy village. This is just a little fairy temple. The temple is a source of their magic or something. I don't know, the ideas are in my head as I'm working on it, but they don't translate out my mouth very well. So I can say I'm sorry about that, but I don't know how to fix it. So sometimes my brain is just dumb and it doesn't do things well. But anyway, so I was painting on the red of the mushrooms and I'm like, I'll do the white later. I totally forgot until after I finished recording everything. So you don't see the white of the mushroom. Whoops, my bad. Yeah, I would say this part was definitely the hardest just because, you see how small it is. And the paint that I mixed up that I used on the poles, I kind of like the original color as it was, but it needed some cleanup, so I'm going to have to try and mix the color. And I thought about doing some more color on the details, because maybe it looks weird without, but at the same time, when you see, the pillars with the molding on top, it's usually all one color. So I kind of wanted to keep it looking kind of cement-ish. And I did not mix up enough of the color. I barely had enough to clean up and finish. Whoops, my bad. Did I use my desk as a palette again? Yes. Did I spill paint all over it? All the time. Sometimes I forget some of my paint is runnier than others, and so when I pour it in the cap, it goes, whee! everywhere, and then I have a big mess. Yeah. So that blue is from last week's project with the sage coffee cup. I do wish I had a better spot to put them because I do love them, but maybe in the next few weeks I'll get some stuff rearranged again. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I have way more finished projects than I actually have room for, and that is a problem. But it's a problem that's just never going to stop, so yeah. Also, I was cutting out wings again. The little fairy wings. I took 2 pieces of a little bit thicker colored paper. It's not like super like cardboard thick, but it's definitely more than your average computer paper. Just cut out the wings, and then I took my knife and I cut out the middle, and then I took some tissue paper, like the stuff that you'd put in a gift bag to kind of cover up and hide the present inside. Yeah, because it's thin enough, and I don't know, it kind of gives a little bit of an effect, I guess. I don't know. But I glued that in there, and it was a process. Things didn't want to cooperate. But then I put the cover on top, and that's how I made the wings. And I'm an idiot. I totally didn't think about, making sure that the ends would fit nicely. So I kind of made them a little bit sideways because I just did not feel like going back and fixing it. I was getting this thing done that day. And I did accomplish that, even with forgetting to put the little white dots on the mushy rooms. But I do like the moss. I think the moss was fun. Maybe I could add a little bit more and gave it a little bit more of an ancient-y look because it looks too new and not ancient. But let me know what you think down below, if you like it, what theme you would have done different, or if you like it as is. Until next time, bye-bye!